take him out. Joining me right now, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Democratic Congressman Ami Bera. Congressman, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Kate.
So you're going to be briefed tomorrow. What do you want to know first and foremost?
You know, just as you said, we want to know exactly what this imminent threat was, what led to taking this particular action at this particular time. And, you know, Secretary Pompeo, Secretary Esper should not expect that they conduct these questions. You know, it is our job to understand why this action was taken. They're putting us on war footing now. We're deploying troops to the region, and this is where Congress has to insert itself.
I want to play for you what the president's national security advisor, what he said this morning about that key question, what led to the drone strike to take out Soleimani. Let me play it for you.
He was plotting to kill, to attack American facilities, and diplomats, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines were located at those facilities. Correct.
So that's from Robert O'Brien, Congressman. When you hear that from him, does that give you more confidence in the justification for the strike?
No, not at all. We're going to want exact specifics. Was there an imminent threat that was happening? We've known Iran has been a bad actor. Soleimani's been a bad actor in the region through proxy groups. So what changed at this particular moment in time?
You know, Soleimani, as you said, is understood by really everybody here to be a bad guy. A general, just earlier this hour, he told me that Soleimani made himself a target when he took on the role that he had, which was planning attacks that had killed Americans. So why not take him out?
Well, so he's had this role for the last decade or two. And both President Bush and President Obama had the ability to take him out. They understood the ramifications of that. That would be considered by the Iranians an act of war. And there would, this would ratchet things up. And that's where we find ourselves right now. Think about where we were just a year or 2 years ago. We had the Iran nuclear deal. Iran was not enriching uranium. We had folks in country. We had dialogue. And look at where we are today. So it's almost as though the Trump administration policy is taking us backwards, as though they want us to go to war.
You know, the last 24 hours has been marked by particular confusion, if you will. For lack of a better term, is astonishingly confusing in the face of life and death circumstances that they're looking at when it comes to this escalation with Iran. You've got a letter from a U.S. one-star general to his Iraqi counterpart saying that the U.S. is preparing to withdraw from the country, and then the Pentagon then needs to then had to come out and say that that was a mistake because they were not planning that at all. And then the whole thing over the cultural sites, which we have been talking about this hour and in previous days. With all of that in mind, do you trust the administration's ability to handle the crisis, where it is today and where it goes from here?
You know, I don't. I mean, when you think about President Trump, on his best days, he's not forthcoming with information. If we are going to war footing, this is where you would want to work closely with Congress. This is where you would want to get the public prepared for what potentially may come, and they've done none of that. It doesn't even appear that the entire administration's on the same page. So, this looked like a haphazard decision that maybe one or two individuals made.
What does a key question now is what happens now? What does de-escalation look like? Who takes that first step to de-escalate? These are all things that have been raised by U.S. allies in response to the attack. What is your view on that?
I think you'll see Congress starting to act. Certainly this week we'll vote on a war powers resolution to try to limit the administration's ability to counteract. One's been introduced by Senator Kaine on the Senate side. I am happy that our European allies are engaged in conversation, trying to open dialogue with the Iranians. And what we really have to do at this juncture is try to de-escalate this and not have an accidental war, because it would not be easy. It would require a massive troop presence there, and I don't think the American public wants to get mired in another war in the Middle East.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to get your take on what you hear and what you can discuss, what you hear when you get the all-house briefing tomorrow. Thank you, Congressman. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. Thanks.